I love you all too. Sisters and brothers, thank you for being here today. Seattle has a choice between two visions for its future. In the vision taking shape for years now, our city is being turned into a playground for the super wealthy and a profit machine for big developers, while most of us face a severe housing crisis. We face underfunded transit and education, strikingly inadequate youth job programs, even basic infrastructure. We face skyrocketing rents and increasing homelessness. We have the worst gender pay gap in the country. Racial disparities in our schools and our justice system are disgracefully all too alive. Wage theft is rampant. The historic LGBTQ and artist and activist communities in Capitol Hill and the Black community in the Central District have been under siege from this developer-driven agenda. But our city is booming for others. A recent count found 80 construction cranes on the skyline of Seattle, many of which are being used to build luxury housing by the thousands. The major corporations based in our city and region are benefiting handsomely, their stocks and shares rising along with the new business towers downtown. I have a different vision for Seattle. A Seattle based on social justice, free from discrimination and poverty, where our city is a leader in mass transit and environmental sustainability. Where we have a powerful labor movement, a working waterfront, and good-paying union jobs across all sectors of our workforce. My vision, our vision, is of a city that is affordable and livable for the 99%, where young people, retirees, all people are able to flourish and live in dignity. A city of equality between people of different colors, gender identities, immigrants or First Nations. A city which never for a moment forgets that Black lives matter. I think this vision is worth fighting for. Do you think it is worth fighting for? election race in District 3 is unusual. Our growing movement has made it so. Our movement has fundamentally challenged the big business agenda in this city. As we all know, the corporate elite in Seattle have been used to owning politics. They are used to having their loyal servants at the wheel in control. When the Chamber of Commerce calls, they have become accustomed to most elected officials sitting up in attention. When we called the corporate politicians out for interrupting city budget discussions for their visit to a Chamber of Commerce retreat, the politicians' defense was, well, this is how it's always been done. What's the scandal here? We do this every year. Well, my sisters and brothers, that is the scandal. When I was elected to City Hall a year and a half ago, I did not arrive alone. Along with me were the aspirations of tens of thousands of people. Into City Hall many times now have come hundreds with me. Again and again, we have filled the chambers. Many people for the first time felt the sense of collective empowerment. Council member Nick Licata and myself recently organized a town hall for affordable housing. City Hall was filled by ordinary people in a way that it has not been in a long time. People demanded action with one voice on the housing crisis. They demanded rent control to make Seattle affordable. They demanded the city build thousands of units of high-quality, affordable housing, publicly owned, controlled, and maintained, to finally provide an alternative to the market's spectacular failure. Yeah. They demanded tenant rights, fair notice about major rent hikes, and a defense against economic eviction. So, has the establishment, the mayor and the right wing of the council, have they got to work on affordable housing? No. Did the mayor press his housing committee to finally come up with something? No. He gave them another month's reprieve. He did respond, in a way, to our demands. He proposed a bill not to address the housing crisis, but a bill to attack free speech. It was an attempt to send a chilling message against all those of us organizing for housing justice. I objected. We all did. The National Lawyers Guild and the American Civil Liberties Union also objected, saying this bill is anti-free speech. This bill is an attack on the First Amendment. But rather than throwing the bill into the trash can, the right wing of the council followed the mayor's demands until they were stopped this very week by the city's Ethics Commission. Corporate politicians, my sisters and brothers, need to be constantly reminded of the constitutional rights of the rest of us. The leadership for this city is coming not from corporate politicians, but from our movement. A movement that has included low-wage workers, labor unions, teachers and students, artists and activists, and the faith communities. Let us be clear, what we have won in social change has come because of our determination and sacrifice. Our coalitions that have been based on honesty and integrity, our clarity that the ruling elite may occasionally pay lip service to us, but almost single-mindedly serve the interests of big business. We have won the historic $15 an hour minimum wage. We built action groups in neighborhoods across the city. We mobilized thousands to rallies, to marches, and into City Hall. I see many of you leaders of the Fight for 15 here tonight. I thank you. McDonald's, Burger King, Starbucks, QFC, all of them will have to pay their workers at least 15 in a year and a half, January 2017. Thank you. The executives and the billionaires will hate it, but they have to accept it. Our 15 Now campaign has gone nationwide. The massive metropolitan area of Los Angeles has just won 15. Los Angeles has over 800,000 workers making less than 15. It all began here. SeaTac and Seattle began this historic movement against economic inequality. We have gone on here in Seattle to win millions in last year's budget for working people, to win services for the homeless, a year-round women's shelter. When the mayor denied the city's own lowest paid workers $15 an hour, we stepped in and made it happen to the People's Budget Movement. We established the Indigenous Peoples Day. Our movement stopped rent hikes of 400% in affordable housing at the Seattle Housing Authority. We took a stand against the disastrous anti-worker, anti-environment Trans-Pacific Partnership. But make no mistake, the elite see one thing, and they see that clearly. They want this challenge to the status quo to stop. They want our movement to go away. They want to return to a cozy, quiet city hall and their behind-the-scenes negotiations. That's what I want to hear. And they will mobilize big corporate money this year and months of mudslinging and slimy personal attacks to try and get their way. We cannot let them win. We need to defend 15. We need to address the housing crisis. We need fully funded social services. We need to defend our seat in City Hall for working people. My sisters and brothers, we need to defend our seat in City Hall for working people, and we will. We will build on what we have won, and we will fight for our vision of this city. That's right. We will fight. We will fight for the interests of the 99%, for all of us in City District 3, for everyone in this city. And we will work in solidarity and cooperation with people in other city districts. If we organize, we can counter the power of big money, of big developers, of union-busting corporations flooding their cash into our district. Can we do this? Will we do this? Sisters and brothers, our vision is inclusive of all human beings. By fighting for change in Seattle, we join the hundreds of millions everywhere who share our vision for society. A society that is free of oppression, war, and exploitation. A society that is based on global sustainability. That is why I am against corporate greed. And that is why I am a socialist. That is why I know we can only do this together or not at all. Working people, young people, the elderly, all of us need to get involved. We need to take our power into our hands collectively. I promise you, I will keep working relentlessly to give everybody who is marginalized a voice in City Hall. And beyond that, I will continue to use all the possibilities I have as a city council member to engage and activate the 99%. The powerful only appear so as long as we remain silent, and we won't. We will take the housing crisis head on here in Seattle. We will make the big developers pay to build affordable housing. We will fight to tax the super wealthy, to fund mass transit and education. We will continue to show how to push back against corporate cash and corruption in politics. We can develop further this grassroots campaign to defend our seat on the City Council, a campaign of mass involvement to push back against the money of Vulcan, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Restaurant Association, and the big developers. I thank you so much for your generous contributions today. More sacrifices will be needed. Please ask your friends and family to follow your lead and to donate. But this campaign also needs your hearts and souls. From now until August, and from August until November, please fill in your volunteer form and hand it to the campaign staff. Help me with door knocking, postering, leafleting, and spreading the word. We have people's power. We have completely shifted the national discussion on inequality. We have already impacted the lives of millions with our leadership. Let us continue. Solidarity.